Welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of SupYoLo. I'm your host, Dalton Hahn, and today we have a very special episode. I'm here with two of the co-founders of Collective Sweat Detroit, Teresa and Maddie.
Hi.
So guys, can you tell me a little bit about what Collective Sweat Detroit is?
Collective Sweat Detroit was founded last year in 2018 by 6 of us. So I'm Maddie Rager, Teresa Mueller, and then there's also Audrey Johnson, Miriam Johnson, Shanice Rollins, and Sarah Opoff.
I know we talked about that you guys offer opportunities to professionals. What kind of opportunities are you offering?
Well, currently, so when we launched in January of last year, we started with just upholding weekly dance classes. So once a week we would have drop-in classes where professionals from in and out of the city could come and continue their education and their training.
Okay.
And we upheld that for a full calendar year. Mm-hmm. And then in the fall of 2018, so around October, November, we received a Night Arts Challenge grant. And now we have a bunch of funding so we can continue to expand our programming in the next 2 years, so 2019, 2020. We have a lot of new visions.
Beautiful. Can you tell me a little bit about the Night Arts grant?
Yeah, the Night Arts Challenge grant, I think they've been around for a while. I think we won in their 6th year, their 5th or 6th year. And it's an easy first round. You just submit your idea and then the panelists select finalists, but it's for anybody in Detroit. It could be an individual, a nonprofit, any organization can submit their idea to make Detroit
using art to better a community in some way.
Awesome.
It's really the guidelines. So we submitted saying we are here to provide more artistic opportunities for artists in the city of Detroit, and they liked it. So
Yeah, it sounds like they loved it.
Yeah, so now we have a lot more in store for the next coming years.
So how did the idea of Collective Sweat Detroit come up?
Well,
When was it invented?
I think it was invented in a lot of brains, like separately.
If you talk to any one of us, I feel like we would all have a different story and a different trajectory of kind of how it came to be.
Yeah.
But I moved here in 2014, and
Where are you from?
I'm from Northern Michigan, from Bel Air, Michigan.
Totally. And you, Teresa?
I'm from Metro Detroit.
Awesome.
So not too far.
And I love the Detroit dance community. I like that it is small. I like that I know almost everybody. But one thing that I missed was continued training and dance classes. I just felt like I miss dancing every week. I miss dancing with other people and like seeing, familiar faces every week in the studio. And so that's when I was like, oh, how can I create the space that would help me as a professional and as a dancer.
That's awesome.
Yeah, everyone in the organization has at least a bachelor's degree in dance, if not also a master's degree in some other realm. So we all went through those 4 years or so of college of consistently having training. Like it was provided for you, it was there for you every single day of the week. And then once you graduate, it's kind of like, well, what do I do now? So we all went through that phase of trying to figure out like, how do I keep moving? How do I keep dancing? So we kind of generated from those thoughts, like we want to provide those for people who are struggling like we are.
And continue learning for yourself too. That's awesome.
And like build an infrastructure for like future dancers, like, dancers, graduating professionals are entering the fields all the time, every year. And so like, how can we create a space in Detroit, a place that, has a dance community? There are choreographers making work, there are people performing all of the time, but like, how can we create a space for the training, for the community, for the just the dance class?
Where are you guys located?
We are actually relocating.
Okay.
And we are moving to the campus of Marygrove.
What was it like in the beginning stages of Collective Sweat Detroit?
In the beginning, it was definitely, we cared about it all so much that we weren't looking for any compensation, right? So like normally if like you're teaching at a studio or a college, you're getting paid to teach every class, but it was so important to us to have this space that we all volunteered our time organizing it and volunteered our time teaching so that people could come and take class. And our classes are really inexpensive. They're only $5, which was important to us.
Yeah,
because we're
very affordable.
Yeah, it's super affordable because like we all have, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 jobs as artists, you know, day jobs, night jobs, whatever jobs. And we were like, oh, it's hard to spend $20 a week on dance class. It's kind of hard to spend $15 a week on dance class. So we were like, what would we ideally like to spend? And so we were like, how about 5? Let's try 5.
And you made it happen. That's awesome.
It happen, get people in the room. And so the class income went directly to space rental. So we, you know, it was all volunteer, making it happen. And it was like that for most of 2018 until we got this grant. And so with this grant funding, now we're able to pay every artist, pay our guest artists. We love having people come and teach class who are not part of like the sort of like a founding 6. We love having other perspectives and other techniques.
Right, yeah.
And so now we get to compensate people for their work, which I think especially in dance, which is an art form that is often like, you know, you got your music, you got your visual art, and then dance sometimes is not as like recognized in conversations about arts communities. So we were like, it's super important that like dancers have funding opportunities in Detroit. With this grant, we also have artist residencies now, which was something that we didn't have before.
What's an artist residency?
So for us, that means that a Detroit choreographer and also a visiting choreographer, we're gonna have 2 a year, and they'll have a stipend and free rehearsal space so that they can research, choreograph, like create, do whatever they need to do so that they can have space and time to create work and create dances and not have to feel this like financial pressure.
Yeah, when we were first starting, we talked about collectively some issues that we felt our community had that was keeping people from making their art. And 2 big ones were space and funding. Finding a space to rehearse that is open to me, and then how do I pay dancers? How do I pay rent? How do I get in that space? So with the choreographic residency programs that we are going to start launching very soon, it takes away those 2 burdens for people, because we're going to pay the space rental, we're going to give you the space, we're going to give you an allotted time, an allotted amount of hours to be there, and we're giving you a stipend and an open forum, because at the end of each choreographic residency there will be open showings for the community to come and give feedback.
Oh, wow.
So if the resident choreographer is working on something in a 3-month period, at the very end, then they can be like, hey, the community, this is what I've been working on. Like, let me know if it's reading, let me know what you think, maybe I'll move in a different direction. So we're trying to involve as many people with it as possible.
You guys totally recognize the struggles of artists all around. What are some hurdles that you had to go through to get where you are now?
So like I said, we're relocating to the campus at Mary Grove. And we've bounced around to a few different spaces. And it's really just like we just said, it was because of like funding, you know? It's like we had to figure out how we were going to pay for space, just like we're trying to now fund for other people. And so we've bounced around to a few different locations. So that's been a few hurdles, is trying to figure out a home for us.
Speaking of reaching people, if people want to reach you, how do they do that?
We have Instagram at Collective Sweat Detroit, Facebook Collective Sweat Detroit, and our website is collectivesweatdetroit.org.
What are some ways that people can get involved?
Come to class.
Yeah.
Classes will be Wednesdays from 7 to 8:30 at the Mary Grove campus. This grant that we won, it's a match grant, so we are doing some fundraising in order to make our match. Look out for a Kickstarter that should be published in a month or 2. You can get involved that way, and just follow us on social media. And keep up with our dancing.
Are there any events coming up soon with Collective Sweat Detroit?
So another thing we're going to be doing with our new funding is hosting as many identity spaces as possible.
Oh, what's that?
So we are trying to be very conscious of the fact that each calendar month recognizes or celebrates a different type of identity. So to start, February is Black History Month. So we are planning to have an identity space in February that is for only Black or Brown identifying bodies. To come together and in community to celebrate, to network, and discuss their art in ways that exemplifies their identity. And we hope to do that throughout the year, so that like March is Women's History Month, we hope to do one then. Moving forward, there's Pride Month and so on. So we're trying to really involve the community in ways.
That is a unique idea, and that's super exciting. I'm very excited to see where that goes.
So are we. Because we haven't, February we'll launch our first one. So
Thank you so much, Teresa. Thank you so much, Maddie. I'm very happy that I got to have you on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you guys for watching. If you want to learn more information about Collective Sweat Detroit, go to their website,
collectivesweatdetroit.org.
I'm your host, Dalton Hahn, and I'll see you next time.